Before we get into this video, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm not a crazy person. I am just a very excited Pokemon fan that is looking for information in literally anything that I can get my hands on in order to get hyped. Everybody wants to be hyped. I mean, the Pokemon Direct is coming up. We need some information. Like, we're dying for information. I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat waiting for the Direct to happen. Like, I'm not gonna go to sleep. There's not that many hours left. It's less than 2 days away. It's almost here. So that led me to this website, PokeBeach. And if you guys have been following me since Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you know what PokeBeach is. And they actually had an X and Y leak not too long ago that everybody had their eyes on after the games came out, because when they posted these leaks, people did not believe them at all. But when X and Y came out, all those X and Y leaks turned out to be true. And it was the craziest thing ever. They had reported on the fairy typing and the dual type and a couple of other things that just sounded crazy but turned out to be true. And here they are again, posting some more leaks from an insider or some, a source inside Nintendo, I'm assuming, that fully verified they were able to present undeniable proof about who they are and what their position is, as stated in this article as well. They said something very similar in the previous article. But anyway, let's go into the bullet points, or I guess in this case, Pokeballs. So the two games have been in development for 6 years, longer than any main series Pokemon game in history, and they are for the 3DS. Okay, well, that's very believable because the 3DS, the development kits were probably sent out a long time ago, seeing as how the 3DS was being talked about in 2010, and 6 years ago that was 2010, and I'm sure that developers had development kits around that time. I don't know anything about that. I'm not a developer, so I don't get development kits or developer kits or whatever, so I wouldn't know about that. But I'm sure that they definitely would have 6 years of time, and they definitely have the team to divide people, to having somebody focus on the filler games until the I guess the 20th anniversary game that they had a different team working on, I guess the more trusted people. And it's really weird because I thought that Black and White was a transition game, like I guess Generation 5 was like a transition thing to Generation 6, which was supposed to be like the big thing, right? But it sounds like Generation 6 was also a transition towards what we have or what we're getting now, and that's a little scary. Alright, so Junichi Masuda did not direct these games. He took a backseat this time around, working only as a composer and programmer. Okay, well that also makes sense because Omori was a director for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so this wouldn't have been the first time that Junichi Masuda did not direct a Pokemon game. Game Freak is changing the way Pokemon look in these games compared to the art style of X and Y. The Pokemon will look more realistic and animal-like. What? More realistic and animal-like? That's like a huge change. Pokemon have always looked the way they do right now. Like the cartoony thing, they grabbed it from the anime, made 3D models out of it, made it look really good. It's been that way since Stadium. You know what I'm talking about? So it's just crazy to think about Pokemon looking animal-like. And if you guys remember the Super Bowl ad, how Pikachu had hair and stuff, maybe that was just a hint at what's to come. Because, I personally thought it was really weird, like a lot of people, that Pikachu had actual hair, but maybe that's just the direction that they're taking things. And maybe Pikachu is one of the, odd Pokemon that looks strange with the animal-like appearance, and other Pokemon will look really good, because there were other Pokemon in that ad, that Super Bowl ad, that actually looked really good. Like, I think Charizard made an appearance, Gyarados, Magneton, I believe, and they all looked really awesome, except for Pikachu with the hair and stuff. I kind of didn't agree with that, but if this is the route they want to take, there's a reason for it, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with them even if they do something like that, because I'm sure it'll grow on you. Like ORAS, there will be no character customization. It seems that feature will always remain exclusive to the Kalos region. Okay, well, I grew up with Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Ruby and Sapphire, and I did not get to customize my character until X and Y, and I was already 18 by then, so I was pretty used to how things, normally go, where you don't get to customize your character. So to me, it's not really a big deal, and I know a lot of people that grew up with Red and Blue and stuff will be upset about not being able to customize your character in the next games if these leaks are true. But it's not the end of the world. It's not like, you know, if there's no way to customize your character, it's not like you're not going to go out there and buy the game anyway. You know what I mean? Because the games, there's only been 2 sets of games that have had that option. So if you're a Pokemon fan and you're like a real Pokemon fan, you would not just stop buying the games because they took out a feature that they only included in one game. There's been a ton of features that they took out, like walking with your Pokemon from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. You don't see that anywhere else. That is exclusive to Heart Gold and Soul Silver. We never saw that again. I mean, excluding Pokemon Yellow, where you kind of get to walk with your Pokemon, I guess, but it's just Pikachu. So, I don't know. I can see that happening, definitely. Being able to customize your character in Kalos because of all the shops in Kalos, and it would just be strange to add shops in future generations. And Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire gave us a good lesson, and that's that they're not going to keep the customizing thing throughout the entire game, so at least not remakes. The first gym leader specializes in rock, the second in water, the third in electric, and his source says that they might have them mixed up. Alright, that's a little weird because Kanto, you know, red and blue, we got Brock, Misty, and Lieutenant Surge. So that's a little strange. I don't know why they would do something like that. I mean, kind of like maybe it's like a shout out to red and blue. And if this is actually true, then this is not a follow-up to X and Y. And I mean, I guess the lack of character customization gave that away, because I don't know, if there's no character customization and the gym leaders are different, like that different, it's probably gonna be Generation 7. And I mean, the Pokemon looking lifelike or animal-like, that's also different, very different. So I don't know, realistic and animal-like, this is all very shocking to me. It's exciting, it's shocking, and it's a little bit scary as well. The rival is antagonistic and doesn't want to be your friend. Okay, that I can get behind, because I have missed being able to defeat my rival and just being really happy about it, because when you defeat your rival and he's your friend, or like your best friend, your childhood friend, it just, you know, emotions get in the way. It just gets really complicated. But if you have a rival like Silver and you destroy them, you're happy about it. You're like automatically like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I want that feeling back. I don't want to feel sorry for winning or sorry for losing. I just want to feel good for winning, for destroying some. I want to destroy my rival. It's about time that they bring something like this back, and they need to do this with Generation 7. I don't want any more friends. No new friends. This villainous team wants to steal powerful Pokemon for money. That sounds exactly like Team Rocket. I mean, Team Rocket wanted power and money and all that stuff, but that sounds like they're going back to the roots with the villainous team as well. Due to the professor not knowing your gender, you will only be able to play as a male. What? To simplify, Pokemon types Dark, Steel, and Fairy will be removed from the game. What is this? What? Alright, is this a joke? Is this a joke? Are you playing? You can't play with my feelings like this. You actually cannot play with my feelings like this. This is a joke. Pokemon will no longer have abilities. There will be no running shoes. There will be no clock or graphical differences at night. This is pretty much red and blue. When I go back up now, I can tell that they're just talking about red and blue. What? Bro. Wait. That's not true. That's not true. Okay. So let's think about, okay, I'm not crazy. Like I said, I'm not crazy. Alright, when PokeBeach posted about the X and Y leaks a while ago, they were all taking it as a joke as well. Like, oh, it's probably, you know, dismissing it and everything like that. But if you look at the first couple of bullet points, or I guess Pokeballs, the 2 games have been in development for 6 years. Longer than any main series Pokemon game in history. They are for 3DS. Okay, yeah, you could be talking about Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow for Virtual Console, I guess, but those games were not in development for 6 years. You know, I mean, saying that they're for 3DS, I don't know. That's really, man, I am really messed up right now after this. Junichi Masuda did not direct these games. He took a backseat this time around, working only as a composer and programmer. Okay, give me a second. Alright, so Junichi Masuda did start out as a composer and programmer like I thought, so he wasn't a director for Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow, which I guess explains the second bullet point. Game Freak is changing the way that Pokemon look in these games compared to the art style of X and Y. The Pokemon will look more realistic and animal-like. That doesn't make sense. If you're talking about Red and Blue, that doesn't make sense. I can understand, you know, if this was a troll post. Well, not really a troll post, but like a joke thing, you know? Like, this guy can do what he wants with his site. It's his site. So if he wants to do something like this, it's fine. But, I mean, that right there, I can't really see that applying to Red and Blue at all. More realistic and animal-like? Maybe animal-like, you know? Because the sprites, back in the day, these Pokemon were mostly based off of actual animals, and the sprites, you know, very like the older sprites, I guess you could say they looked more animal-like, but realistic, not really realistic. So that bullet point right there, it's kind of making me question a little bit. Everything after the third bullet point, everything kind of, you know, just talks about Red and Blue, like the Bite, Gust, Karate Chop, and Sand Attack will all become normal type moves. The moves will no longer be individually classified as physical or special. Special attack and special defense are merged into one. This is just talking about Red and Blue. Literally everything. I'm looking through every single thing, and all of it just sounds like Red and Blue. I don't know if I'm just being optimistic, especially the Peekaboo thing at the end. You guys see that thing at the end, the Peekaboo thing? Hello? Yeah, this is definitely like just, you know, just having fun with the article. But those first three bullet points, I mean, excluding the second one, I guess, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just, you know, it's probably me being in denial right now, but like, I don't know. It's so hard to explain to you guys. I just feel really weird that in the past, Pokebeach has tried to dismiss things as like maybe just like a joke, or like, you know, with the X and Y leaks, maybe trying not to get the leaker in trouble, or maybe this was just a joke. You know, it would be nice to hear from him that it was just all a joke. I don't know. I haven't done enough research, so he might have said it somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure. This is very clever though. The way that he put this together, very clever, but now I'm just upset. I guess I'm just gonna have to wait until Friday, like everybody else. But thank you all for watching. Make sure to click like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Wait, I want to show you guys something. So if you look at the third bullet point here on the screen, it says the legendaries on the boxes will apparently be two bird Pokemon, either Freezer or Fire, and that's Articuno and Moltres in Japanese. But listen to this last part. The third Pokemon is yellow and will probably be used for the third game in a few years. And I'm guessing he's talking about Zapdos. But that doesn't make sense, because Red, Blue, and Yellow feature Charizard, Blastoise, and Pikachu. So if you were making a funny article on Red, Blue, and Yellow and trying to, I guess, make people believe that this is, well, I guess it makes sense to try to throw people off in the beginning so that by the end of the article, they're a complete mess. But I just can't help but to look at that line and have like, I don't know, I feel like there's some truth to some of this. Or maybe I'm just in denial. Yeah, actually, I might just be in denial.